This might just be the most important thing you hear all year. In fact, it might be the most crucial concept you ever truly grasp in your entire life. Because what we're about to dive into is the very foundation of self-improvement, the bedrock of success, and the secret ingredient to building a life you're genuinely proud of. But before we get into the deep stuff, let's start with a story. A famous one you might have heard of, but perhaps you've never truly considered its profound implications for your own life. It's called the marshmallow experiment. Picture this: a room, a small child, and a single, fluffy, sugary marshmallow sitting on a plate right in front of them. An adult comes in and presents a simple deal. You can eat this one marshmallow right now. If you want, they say, but if you can wait for just 15 minutes without touching it, I will come back and give you two marshmallows instead. One treat now, or two treats later. It's a simple choice, isn't it? A test of willpower. The immediate, tempting pleasure versus a bigger, better reward that requires a little bit of patience, a little bit of discomfort. This is the classic battle between instant gratification and delayed gratification. Played out with a piece of candy dot, the kids in the experiment did what you'd expect. Some of them couldn't resist. The moment the adult left the room, they snatched that marshmallow and gobbled it up. The temptation was just too strong. Others, however, fought the urge. They fidgeted. They looked away. They covered their eyes. They sang songs to themselves, anything to distract from the allure of that single marshmallow. They endured the short-term agony of waiting, holding out for that bigger prize dot. Now, here's where it gets really interesting. The experiment didn't just end when the 15 minutes were up. The researchers did something brilliant. They kept in touch with these children for years, even decades. They tracked their progress through school into their careers and into their adult lives. And what they found was nothing short of astonishing. The children who were able to delay gratification, the ones who waited for the second marshmallow, consistently did far, far better in life. They had higher test scores, better social skills, healthier relationships, more successful careers, and were generally reported to be happier and more well-adjusted. On the other hand, the children who couldn't wait, the ones who grabbed the instant reward, tended to struggle more. They were more likely to have problems with obesity, addiction, and managing their finances. Their lives in general were marked by more difficulty and less fulfillment. So, this brings us to the core question, the one that defines the trajectory of your entire existence. How much comfort are you willing to sacrifice for your future self? Let's break this down. Instant gratification is the enemy of your future. It's the siren song of modern life, whispering in your ear, telling you to take the easy path. It's the pleasure you can get right now. It's the endless scroll on social media, the next episode that autoplays on Netflix, the greasy junk food that calls your name late at night, the mind-numbing escape of video games, the cheap thrill of pornography, the temporary buzz from drugs or alcohol. It's anything that gives you a quick, easy hit of pleasure without demanding any real effort. Think of your happiness, your sense of well-being, like a graph. We all have what scientists call a baseline level of dopamine. Now, I know some science nerd is going to jump in the comments and say, well, actually, dopamine isn't the happiness hormone. It's about motivation and reward, and serotonin is more linked to mood. And you know what? They're right. But for the sake of keeping things simple and relatable, let's just think of dopamine as our general level of enjoyment or pleasure. It works as a metaphor. So we all have this baseline, this average level of happiness. It's just how you feel on a normal day, when nothing particularly exciting or terrible is happening. When you indulge in an act of instant gratification, let's say you eat a whole bag of chips, you get a spike, your dopamine shoots up. You feel good, you feel pleasure. But here's the catch. That spike is temporary. And when it comes crashing back down, it doesn't just return to your original baseline. It dips below it. And with each indulgence, your overall baseline gets dragged down. Just a tiny, imperceptible little bit dot. It makes perfect sense when you think about it. You eat the junk food. You get the pleasure spike, but afterward you've gained a little fat, you feel sluggish, and your health has taken a tiny hit. Your baseline is now a fraction lower. You stay up until 3 a.m. playing video games. It's fun in the moment, a huge spike of stimulation. But the next day, you're running on 4 hours of sleep. Your brain is foggy, and you can't focus. Your baseline sinks even lower. You scroll through TikTok for an hour. It's a constant stream of tiny dopamine hits. But afterward, you feel empty, your attention span is shot, and you've accomplished nothing. Your baseline drops again. Now. One little dip doesn't feel like much. You barely notice it. But what happens when you do this every single day? Multiple times a day. For years, you get on this relentless roller coaster. A spike up, a crash down, a crash down. After a decade of this cycle, where do you think your baseline is going to be? It's going to be in the gutter. That constant low grade feeling of anxiety, dissatisfaction, and boredom that so many people walk around with, that's the price of a chronically lowered baseline. That's the long-term cost of a million short-term pleasures. I had this thought a while back, and I wrote it down in my journal. It's an undeniable fact that we used to be so much happier as kids. Think about it. When you were a child, the simplest things could bring you immense joy. Staring out the car window on a road trip was enough stimulation. A cardboard box could become a spaceship. Finding a cool-looking rock was the highlight of your day. Your baseline was naturally high dot, but now, we need a YouTube video playing on one screen, a podcast in our ears, and a mobile game on our phone all at the same time, just to feel something, just to stave off the boredom for a few minutes. We need videos with hyper-fast cuts, loud sound effects, and maybe some GTA gameplay footage in the bottom half of the screen just to hold our attention. This is what happens when your baseline has been systematically destroyed by a lifetime of overstimulation and easy dopamine. You need more and more intense stimuli just to feel normal. But what if we flip the script? What if, instead of chasing the easy spike, we embraced the dip? What if we chose delayed gratification? Delayed gratification is the hard stuff. It's the workout you don't feel like doing. It's the cold shower that makes you flinch. It's the brain-frying study session when you'd rather be watching TV. It's resisting the urge to check your phone for the 10th time in an hour. When you choose to do these things, you experience discomfort. Your pleasure level initially goes down. It's not fun. It's a sacrifice, but here's the magic. After the discomfort is over after the last rep at the gym, after you step out of that freezing shower, after you finally close the textbook, something incredible happens. Your dopamine doesn't just return to your old baseline. It rises above it. You get a surge of pride, accomplishment, and genuine earned satisfaction. You have a new, slightly higher baseline than you had before .now. Imagine doing this every day. Just like with the bad habits, the effect compounds over time. You go to the gym, your baseline goes up. You eat a healthy meal, it goes up again. You read a book, you meditate, you work on your business, up, up, up. After years of consistently choosing the hard path, of embracing the initial dip for the sake of the long-term reward, your baseline shoots for the sky. You become one of those people who seems to have boundless energy, a positive outlook, and an unshakable sense of purpose. You're not just happy when good things happen. Your default state, your very baseline, is one of strength, confidence, and contentment. This is the fundamental choice you face every single day in 100 different moments. Do you prioritize the comfort of your present self or the success and happiness of your future self? I know what it feels like. The alarm goes off in the morning. Your bed is so warm, so comfortable. The thought of getting up, of facing the day, of stepping into a cold shower feels impossible. Your brain, your weak comfort-seeking brain, screams at you to just hit the snooze button. Just 5 more minutes, it whispers. You deserve it. You're tired? That's the voice of instant gratification. But you have another voice, a stronger one. The voice of your future self. He's begging you to get up. He's begging you to do the hard thing because he knows that every time you give into comfort, you're stealing from him. You're making his life harder. I'm proud to say that I've trained myself to listen to that second voice. Almost every single morning, I wake up at the same time, no matter how I feel. No matter how much I want to stay in that warm bed, I get up. I force myself out from under the covers and I walk straight to the shower and turn the handle all the way to cold. And you know what? In that moment, it sucks. It's a shock to the system. It's pure discomfort. But every single time I've done it, without fail, I have never, ever regretted it. I step out of that shower feeling alive, energized, and proud. My baseline for the day is immediately set higher. But on the rare occasions I've failed, when I've listened to that weak voice and stayed in bed, sleeping in until 10 a.m., I have regretted it every single time. I wake up feeling groggy, disappointed in myself, and behind on my day. My baseline is lower. Instant versus delayed gratification. Think about the gym. Millions of people don't feel like going to the gym on any given day. The couch is comfortable. The gym is hard work. But can you find a single person who actually went to the gym and then regretted it afterward? No. Zero. Nobody finishes a workout and thinks, man, I wish I hadn't done that. They feel amazing. They're flooded with endorphins and pride. It's only the initial discomfort, the friction of getting started, that holds us back. Once you push through that, once you finish that last rep and your baseline soars above its old position, it's always worth it. You find yourself thinking, why was I even hesitating? Why was I being such a little baby about it? To fight that weak part of my brain, the part that's always whispering for comfort and the easy path. I have a simple mindset that I repeat to myself over and over. Prioritize your future self. In every decision, I ask, how can I make that guy's life better? I've learned to sacrifice my present comfort for his future reward. Because one day, and this is a guarantee, you are going to wake up and you will be your future self. That day is coming. And when it arrives, you are going to look back at the person you are right now. And you will either be filled with gratitude or with resentment. You will either thank your past self for setting you up for success, or you will curse him for leaving you in a hole of failure and regret. There's a quote I heard from an entrepreneur that has always stuck with me. He said, sacrifice your 20s for the rest of your life. That is the essence of delayed gratification on a grand scale. Your 20s are a time when the pull of instant gratification is at its strongest. Society tells you this is the time to party, to be reckless, to live for the moment. Most people spend this decade chasing cheap thrills, partying, drinking, getting into dead-end relationships, and generally avoiding responsibility. And because you're young, you don't really feel the consequences right away. Your body bounces back from a hangover a little quicker. The debt doesn't seem so daunting yet, but make no mistake, the bill always comes due. Future, you will suffer for the indulgences of your youth. One day, you'll be 35, overweight, in debt, and stuck in a job you hate. And you'll look back at your 20-year-old self with pure hatred. You knew. You'll scream at him in your mind. You knew you wanted a six-pack, so why did you drink so much beer and eat so much pizza? You knew you wanted to be financially free, so why did you waste all your money on stupid things? You knew what you wanted most, and you threw it all away for a cheap buzz? How could you not hate that person? He didn't sacrifice for what you wanted most, and so what you wanted most became the sacrifice. That's a heavy bar, but it's the truth. But what if you do the opposite? What if you decide to dedicate your life right now to serving your future self? This isn't an act of self-denial. It is the ultimate act of self-love. You love yourself enough to give the future version of you everything he's ever dreamed of, instead of just handing him a bigger pile of problems to solve. When you do that, one day you'll look back at the person you are now, and you'll be filled with overwhelming gratitude. You'll think, thank you. Thank you for putting in the work when it was hard. Thank you for getting up early. Thank you for staying in on a Friday night to build a business. Thank you for choosing the salad over the burger. Thank you for everything. Personally, I'm looking to sacrifice the next 3 years of my life. I'm talking about intense, focused, head down work. Why? So that I can be financially free within 5 to 10 years. So that by the time I'm in my late 20s, I'll have the freedom that most people only dream of having when they retire at 65. The hard work right now may be bitter, but I know the fruit it will produce will be incredibly sweet. And a funny thing happens when you consistently choose the hard path. At a certain point, the hard work itself becomes fun. It becomes its own reward. Your brain rewires itself. Instead of craving the passive consumption of entertainment, you start to crave the active challenge of creation and improvement. Just as an alcoholic is depressed both while he's drinking and in every other part of his life because his baseline is shot, you become happy both while you're doing the hard work and in every other part of your life. Because your baseline is always getting higher, your teenage years and your 20s are the period of compounding. The habits you build now, whether good or bad, will compound at an exponential rate. If you compound bad habits, laziness, poor diet, mindless consumption, your life will spiral downwards. But if you compound good habits, discipline, learning, exercise, saving your life will skyrocket to heights you can barely imagine right now. The choice is yours, and it's a choice you make every single day, instant or delayed. Wherever you are in your life right now, your past actions have led you to this exact spot. That is 100% accountability. Now, maybe some of the things that happened to you weren't your fault. Life isn't fair, but they are and always will be your responsibility. You are the only one who got you here, and you are the only one who can get you out. I think about this YouTube channel. I didn't make this channel. Past me did. A version of me from a while ago decided to sit down, overcome the awkwardness and the fear of judgment, and record a video. He worked hard. He had the thought, maybe this could be more than just a little side project. And because he had that thought, because he chose the discomfort of putting himself out there over the comfort of doing nothing, I get to be here today, talking to you. I don't remember the thousands of hours I wasted scrolling on social media. I don't remember the specific afternoons and evenings I spent zoned out playing video games. They've all blended into a meaningless gray fog. The pleasure from those activities vanished 10 seconds after they were over. But I do remember the hard work. I remember the feeling of finishing a difficult project. I vividly remember the cold shower I took this morning. Got why? Because the pleasure of a bad habit is fleeting. It's gone in an instant. All you're left with are the consequences. Think about it. After you indulge in some cheap, empty pleasure, 10 seconds later, the good feeling is gone. It has completely vanished. All that remains is the guilt, the shame, or the slight decline in your health and well-being. But the discomfort of a good habit is also fleeting. 10 seconds after I step out of a cold shower, I don't feel the discomfort anymore. It's gone. But what I'm left with are the rewards, the pride, the energy, the discipline, the higher baseline. So, if you look in the mirror right now and you don't like what you see, if you know deep down that you are suffering the consequences of 1,000 bad choices, of 1,000 moments where you chose comfort over progress, then it's time to ask yourself the question again. And this time, answer it honestly. How much comfort are you willing to sacrifice for your future self? Will he be better off because of the choices you make today, or will he be worse? Will you grab the single marshmallow now, or will you have the discipline to wait 15 minutes for the second one? Carry this mindset with you every single day. Sacrifice your present life for your future self. Because one day, you're going to become him. Don't give up what you want most. The freedom, the body, the business, the relationship, the life you dream of for what you want right now, which is just a fleeting moment of comfort or a cheap, unsatisfying thrill. The time for excuses is over. The time for feeling sorry for yourself is over. The time for waiting for motivation is over. It's time to take action. It's time to choose the hard path. It's time to start building the future you that you can be proud of. Start today. Start right now. All right, 2 videos filmed this morning. 2. That's delayed gratification in action, baby. Putting in the work. Since you stuck around this long, you deserve a little treat. A little dopamine spike, but a wholesome one. Let me show you the cat. Pretty sure she's sleeping over here. There she is. Hey, buddy. Look at that. She's currently delaying gratification by napping, preparing for future zoomies. Anything to say to the people? No, nothing. I guess not. All right, you heard her. Continue delaying gratification,